I think we're getting to the point where people are just focused on getting as much Bitcoin as possible and not getting bogged down in figuring out why. They're just buying, they're just hitting the buy button because they feel like the front running and the FOMO and the hyper Bitcoinization is so strong that people are just like hit the buy button and they'll think about why they're doing it later.
So obviously the Trump election is probably one of the biggest pieces of news in Bitcoin that's happened. You and I were talking a little earlier about how I think it surprised both of us. What was your reaction with the Trump news? Obviously Trump's controversial because he's got his own coins and all that, right? What's your thoughts about that change in America?
Yeah, it's, I've been around for a long time, and I came of age as a kid. I was a kid.
Bitcoin has shattered the $100,000 barrier, but if you think that's the endgame, think again. According to financial visionaries Max Keiser and Jack Mallers, this milestone is just the opening act in Bitcoin's meteoric rise. The surging demand for Bitcoin has created a frenzy unlike anything the market has seen before. The fear of missing out has reached fever pitch, driving retail and institutional investors alike to snap up Bitcoin without hesitation. According to Max Keiser, this newfound urgency is fueled by more than just individual buyers. It's now about nation-states joining the fray. Keiser suggests that the US and other global powers are stealthily entering the Bitcoin market, preparing for multi-billion-dollar acquisitions. This is no longer just about hedge funds or high-net-worth individuals. Entire countries are recognizing Bitcoin's transformative potential as a global reserve currency. In another interview, Jack Mallers echoes Keiser's optimism, diving into the fundamental reasons Bitcoin is positioned for unstoppable growth. For something to be the ultimate store of value, Mallers explains, it must be accessible anytime, anywhere, without limitations. Bitcoin checks all the boxes. He highlights Bitcoin's unique ability to operate 24/7, 365 days a year, as a borderless, censorship-resistant, and infinitely divisible form of money. These qualities make it not just a digital asset, but the next evolution of money itself. Watch clips from Max Keiser interview to gain more insight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and enable notifications for additional in-depth content. Thanks for joining us again. Enjoy the video.
My point being that de-dollarization is here, and these countries are pulling out of the dollar, and part of that transition will be to price energy in something other than the dollar. And I think the winner will be Bitcoin, because Bitcoin becomes a world reserve currency. And so energy and Bitcoin is almost synonymous. A lot of people have been saying for years, really, that Bitcoin is energy is Bitcoin. It's backed by energy, it is energy. Money is energy. Money is the energy that you can solidify, put in your pocket, and move into the future with it, right? Because your Bitcoin that you can buy stuff with today is the same Bitcoin you can buy stuff with in 5 years. Also, it's the same Bitcoin you can buy stuff with in some other countries. It can move through space. So money allows you to move through time and space. It lets you move into the future. It lets you move around geographically. And that's always been the appeal of money, from beads and shells to gold. The appeal has always been the ability for an individual to be free. And freedom is something that humans yearn for. And so money has always been a means for freedom in that sense. And obviously state money, like the US dollar, doesn't have that level of freedom. It doesn't really come with freedom attached. The cycles in Bitcoin, I think, looking ahead, will be, I see a problem developing in 18 months of liquidity, where it's just people are going to not be able to source Bitcoin at any price. There's just nobody, and so it'll be an illiquid market. And this happens in markets all the time. They get jammed up by having liquidity issues. That's why over the last, you see this sideways action in Bitcoin since the last time we spoke.
Right.
And people are saying, well, there seems to be a lot of demand. Why is it going sideways? And there's two reasons for that. Number one, there was a lot of supply with Germany selling, the Mt. Gox folks selling, et cetera, or getting settlement. But the other part of that equation are that since Bitcoin was moving into Wall Street broker-dealers have to create their order books, have to create the ability to handle transactions. And that means they have to short a lot of Bitcoin to have those shorts on their books, as well as the longs. because when you're maintaining as a specialist, essentially, you're maintaining buys and sells, you have to try to make a market, and price discovery is something that's mutually beneficial to all participants. And in order to allow for good price discovery to occur, broker dealers have to have a lot of inventory. They have to have a lot of Bitcoin. They have to have both sides of the books adequately represented on the short side and on the long side. So I think that part of this whole sideways movement where broker dealers and market makers kind of preparing for a much bigger market. And then once they have a size their markets properly, then the price discovery is kind of allowed to act based on the true supply and demand. Mm-hmm. And so now we're seeing this jump to 90, 100, 120, 150,000. I think the price can get to 200 to 250,000 in this cycle before you have any difficulty from broker dealers in handling orders. Before they would have to recalibrate their order books, etc.
As countries explore ways to secure financial sovereignty, Bitcoin's borderless, censorship-resistant qualities provide a revolutionary edge. This shift isn't just about rejecting the dollar. It's about embracing a system where trust is rooted in code, not centralized institutions. Keiser attributes recent sideways price action to increased supply and the influence of Wall Street institutions, predicting Bitcoin could eventually reach $200,000 to $250,000 as the market matures. Meanwhile, Jack Mallers compares pivotal U.S. economic decisions to emphasize the need for new solutions in times of financial instability. He predicts that by 2025, the U.S. will embrace Bitcoin, aligning with American values like equal rights and open networks. Mallers argues that Bitcoin, as a decentralized asset, promotes growth, jobs, and energy. He urges the U.S. to invest in Bitcoin, positioning it as the key to a stable, innovative economic future. Let's watch more clips from the interview.
In 1933, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? We're taking all your gold. In 1971, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? We're divorcing ourselves from the gold standard so we can print money. In 2008, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? It was we're bailing out all the big banks that misbehaved. In 2025, if the U.S. has a really big economic announcement, what is it? It's we're pro-technology, we're pro-innovation. What principles and morals and ethical alignment does Bitcoin have? Equal rights, equal opportunity, an open network. These are American ideals, American values. This is an asset that was accessible to the people 15 years ago that the people own. Governments only own 2, 3, 4% of this asset. This asset is held by the people. It acts in the best interest of the public. It's pro-jobs, it's pro-energy, it's pro-industry, it's pro-growth. And does anyone else have a plan to get us out of debt? Are we going to start a lemonade stand out here in Times Square? No, how about the best performing asset in the history of mankind? We lean into it, we buy it. Coinbase is an American company, Strike's an American company, Kraken's an American company, Tether sells the US dollar. Let's support these businesses, let's support this industry. I think that ego gets in the way of many people. People think they're late to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, right? I think that late according to who? Oh, because you're comparing yourself to Michael Saylor, you're comparing yourself to your college roommate, you're comparing yourself to your coworker. Over the last 15 years, the best thing you could have done is buy Bitcoin. And I think that's going to be true for the next 1,500 years. And so as a country, I think we have a choice. I think everyone else around the world is understanding we are pro-growth, pro-business, pro-Bitcoin as this new administration takes office. And we have to make a decision. I think the worst thing we can do is not own enough. And actually, to de-risk this, we should buy some and push these American ideals in technology and innovation and growth through the best performing asset and technology in mankind.
Bitcoin has surged past $100,000, reaching $103,647 as of December 5th, 2024, marking its highest value since its creation over a decade ago. Despite this achievement, Bitcoin is still primarily measured in USD, functioning more as an alternative investment rather than replacing fiat currencies. The rise of cryptocurrency coincided with the announcement that Donald Trump had won the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Bitcoin's price jumped from around $69,000 on election day to $75,000 following the victory, as investors anticipated a more crypto-friendly administration under Trump. Trump, who has launched his own cryptocurrency platform, has vowed to retain the federal government's Bitcoin holdings while removing SEC Chair Gary Gensler, a key figure in crypto regulation. Gensler will step down in January. The final push past the $100,000 mark came after Trump announced key appointments for his administration, including former Republican Securities and Exchange Commissioner Paul Atkins as his pick to lead the SEC. Atkins, a supporter of digital assets, has also co-chaired the Chamber of Digital Commerce's Token Alliance, and Trump emphasized the importance of digital innovations to the country's future. Additionally, factors such as the start of options trading on BlackRock's Bitcoin exchange-traded fund, which saw $1.9 billion in transactions on its first day, contributed to Bitcoin's surge. These developments have sparked optimism for Bitcoin's future in a more favorable regulatory environment. As we come to a close, what are your thoughts on the onboarding frenzy going on in the industry right now? Do you think there will be more or less Bitcoin participation next year? Please share your thoughts in the comments below, share this video, and hit your thumbs on the like button. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.